All right, we're live here at Rockstar Art Gallery, 5700 Northwest Central. We've mixed so many different kinds of art today. We've had wonderful poetry, visual art, live music, and several interviews in the interview room with all of these great artists. It's Rockin' Robin Kirby here. We are live on Music Highway at Rockstar on StilettoBroadcasting.com. And now I'm in the studio with Hot Poets. Welcome, you guys.
Hey. Thanks.
Welcome.
Hey. Thank you.
Hey.
Thanks for having us.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for coming in. So we have Kelly Ellis. She put together this really cool group of poets. They do a lot of reading around the city, and they create these really cool poetry shows in different places around the city. So if you ever see anything by Hot Poets, go out and check them out because that's who you were hearing today on Music Highway. Kellyanne Ellis, we have Carolyn Adams, Billy Hill, Joseph Machado. Is Machado? Is that? Machado. I knew there was going to be a trick to that name. And Layla Merrill?
Oh, Layla's not here today.
Oh, okay, Layla's not here. So we have Chris Wise, Tina Cordona, Glenn M. Irby, and the music behind the poets today was Dennis O'Doherty. We appreciate him coming in, too. And can you say that name for me correctly, too?
O'Doherty.
O'Doherty. I knew that was going to be tricky, too. And he used to play with me on stage. Dennis played lead guitar for me for a while and sat in with Robin Kirby and friends.
That's right.
And it was hard for me to get his name right on stage. It's kind of funny. Anyway, I'm pleased to have all of you here. And thank you so much for bringing your poetry to the show. It's been a really great day. There's loads of people here, and we're having a blast. So can you tell us, I think I'm going to start with you, this gentleman here, and can you tell us your name and the name of the poetry that you read today?
Sure, Robin. My name's Joe Machado, and I read 4 poems. I'll probably only mention one, a poem for stones.
Okay.
The 4 that I did, though, were sort of representing the 4 elements.
Okay. So they had like a background meaning, right?
There was a structure, yeah. It was
structure.
earth and water and air and fire.
Earth, water, air, and fire. We should have put Earth, Wind, and Fire behind you.
Perfect.
We practically did with
Oh,
Dennis.
yeah, he was amazing.
Terrific.
He was.
Enjoyed that very much.
So did you guys put together a page where they can find you, Kelly?
We have a Facebook page.
Okay.
We think it's up and running.
All right.
We have pictures from today.
Okay, and is it Hot Poets at Facebook? So if they just...
It is Hot Poets.
Okay, so if they just type in Hot Poets, then they should be able to come up with you guys' new poetry page?
Yes, that's right.
Awesome. And so can you tell me a little bit more about, you want to talk about one of the poems that you wrote?
Sure, yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
A poem for stones was the first one that I read, and it's really reflections on a trip through the canyon lands in Utah, and the powerful imagery associated with the geology of the place and the physical form of the stones and their
right. It's always interesting to see where they come up with the words. You know, where poets come up with their words, or how they mix them together, and how they present them when they are mixed together. I think is really cool too. And the dynamic of a poem to me is good. So you guys are all going to be on this same page on Facebook, right? We're going to be able to reach all of you. Okay, awesome. So. And I think maybe we'll move on to the next poet.
Okay, hi, I'm Carolyn Adams. It's nice to be here.
Oh, thank you for having us, Carolyn. Thank you. We appreciate you being here, and thank you for being a part of the show.
Oh, you're welcome.
And can you tell us the name of the poems that you read?
Yeah, I read 3. One was 107 Degrees. I'm not sure if I read it actually at one of the Hot Poet events, but it's hot, so I figured it would work.
Right, it fits.
And the other was Unmoored.
Unmoored.
And the last was Excuse Me.
Okay.
And
can you tell us about Excuse Me?
Yes.
All
Excuse Me was actually written during the Bush administration.
Okay.
So I just updated it a little bit for this current administration.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. I just actually released a song called Political Zoo.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's a punk song. I haven't printed it yet, but it's on SoundCloud, and it's about the administration.
There you go. A lot of material.
I think there is a lot of material in it. There's no doubt about our new administration being a lot of material, or a political zoo.
Exactly.
So, what parts of the administration did you take and integrate into this poem? Like, what did you change about it after that? When you changed the administration?
I added in some pieces, some phrases about having unique voices, not echoing,
right?
But
but saying something.
Yeah, speaking on point, trying to speak on point.
Right. That's beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing your poetry today. And I think our next poet is.
Hi, I'm Billy Hill.
Hey, Billy.
Hey.
I loved your poetry. I mean, I came and listened to these guys. I came and listened to them as they got their timing down for today's show, and they're all just amazing poets. We're so happy to have them. So, Billy, tell me about your 3 poems.
Precepts, Knowing, and One Note were the 3 pieces I won.
Okay.
Read.
Right. You want to tell us about one of those? Which one's your favorite?
One Note.
One Note. Okay.
One Note, because just in the world climate today, I wanted to say something positive to bring people together.
And that's the one that had the harmony.
Right,
part in
harmony.
It. Yeah, it had a lot of harmony in that poem. I remember that poem from yesterday.
And I thought that that was a good piece for me to read today, because we need it all over the world, and it's too much going on that we can solve.
Well, I think that if we all work together, it's going to help things. So when we all stay on the same page and we keep writing to our senators and work for the changes that we really want to make in the world. A lot of people are screaming about the climate of politics today. However, I feel like if you want to do something, you have to actually do something. In politics, you have to call your senator. You have to call your, the people that are in charge, because if not, then none of us will ever be heard. So I love that poem, and I think it was really great for the time and the things that are happening in today, which is really cool. So thank you for bringing your poetry. And next to me now I have Kelly Ann Ellis, and she's the leader of these great poets. And you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? And
well, I don't think we have one leader. We're sort of a...
Yes, you're the leader, dear.
But today I was really happy to read with these wonderful poets. And the 3 that I read, I read 4.
Okay.
Last Tryst, a sonnet called Undone, Poetry Remains. I guess I read 3. Poetry Remains was the one that I read last.
Okay. Do you want to tell us about one particular poem?
Well, I like Poetry Remains because it talks about, it addresses the power of poetry to outlast other things.
Right.
Be it love affairs or changing tides of people's lives. But I think art has a permanent place in our culture, and that it does outlive generations and carry on its legacy and bring beauty into people's lives. And so to me, that's the power of poetry.
Right. It is a great thing. I'm a huge fan of poetry. I have poetry books, and I really enjoy going out and hearing poetry. So do you guys have any shows coming up, or are you working on some stuff?
We have some things in the works, and I'm going to be doing Last Sundays with you, I hope.
Yes, absolutely. We want poetry here.
So we will post what
Rockstar.
we've got going on. And
Awesome. So we were gonna talk about one of your poems. What you want to talk about another one?
The most recent poem was Last Tryst, and it came from a prompt. And the prompt was a poem that had to include New Year's Eve, a graveyard, and a reference to a classical work. And so I remembered a carriage driver telling me a story about Houdini wanting to meet his wife in the afterlife at this bar that's still in Galveston called the Martini.
Wow.
And so I took that and ran with the idea of them meeting in the afterlife. And so cool. It's a narrative poem, and it's recent. I liked it a lot.
Well, thank you for bringing all these wonderful people and putting them into our life, because we're really, really happy to have them.
Thank you for having us.
And so our next poet is, would you introduce yourself?
My name is Chris Wise.
Chris has a really cool style of poetry reading. He chills out and kind of makes himself really comfortable. Is that something that you learned, or just that's just the way you are? Or
a lot of people get on stage and act like somebody they're not. The rest of us get on stage and finally get to be ourselves.
I love that. That's great. As a musician, I totally feel that way, because that's really the most comfortable place I am, is on a stage. So, and now in radio. I really wasn't sure if this was for me until Kat and Yvette asked me to come on here at Music Highway. And now that I've done it, I feel like I was meant to do it. So I totally understand what you're saying. I mean, you get to be yourself on stage and share your art, which is super cool. Super cool.
Which is usually a very solitary sort of thing, writing.
Yeah, and some people hide their art. I mean, you don't know how many people are really great artists that they never show it to anyone. Whether it be a poem or a song, or music artists do it too. They're just afraid to release it, or for different reasons. I met a really great visual artist just recently, and I was so amazed by his work that he said, "I don't show it anywhere." And I was like,
usually
wow.
You're in the half-light dimmed with your addictions and your art in your own living room, and the people who cross through get to see it, and nobody else.
Sure. Well, that's what we're trying to do here at Rockstar Art Gallery. Is we want to bring together all these different kinds of art and bring it out to the community and bring it out to these Houston people that are tuning in, and people that are all of our friends, and kind of mix it all together so that we all get great art out there on air and in this room. So we appreciate you coming. You want to tell me about your poems? Tell me about the one where you kind of like chill out and you're like in the room.
Which one?
I think it was the first one you did.
Liturgy of a Holy Rock and Roll Poet.
Yeah.
When I got out of the Army, I had a duffel bag, and I moved into a low-income housing. And once I stepped in, I was moved in. And there were 4 units up there. I had one girl on the side. They sold crank. The other one sold coke, and she danced. And the other one sold marijuana, and I had a guitar. So even though I had no furniture, and I was watching the dumpster for anything I could find to scavenge to have in my home to sit on, because I was getting carpet burns laying on the ground all the time, they all began to visit. And they all would talk to me like I had some kind of knowledge or some kind of thing, and I didn't know any more than they did,
Right.
I just knew that I was going someplace, man. I was going to do something different than they were, and if they wanted to follow, come on. If not, see you later.
Right.
Right.
Well, I also know that you've read with my great friend Harry Shepard.
Oh yeah,
he's such a wonderful artist and musician.
Yeah, that was Billy. Billy performed.
Oh, it was you.
It
was Billy. Yeah. I'm sorry, I got you guys.
No, I got to meet him, but Billy worked with him. Yeah.
Okay, so Billy performed with Mr. Harry Shepard.
Yes, that was the PM show last Saturday.
Right, killed it too.
Yeah. We love Harry Shepard here on Music Highway. Hopefully, and maybe at some point or in the next coming months, we can have Harry come and play behind you guys. I'll try to talk to him about it and see if maybe he'll be a part of this show as well, because I love Harry. He's a really good friend of mine. He also played with Billie Holiday.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
and Benny Goodman and Barbara Streisand.
Yeah. He's the man.
Excellent.
He's the man. He definitely is. He plays what does he call that? A xylophone? Maroomba.
It's like a different kind of xylophone.
Maroomba xylophone. Yeah, he's really super cool. So, Harry, if you're listening out there, we want you to be a part of Music Highway and these poets. Maybe we can get him as the music here.
Well, let me pass the microphone over to my friend Tina Cardona.
Awesome.
Thank you, Chris.
Hi, Tina. Welcome.
Thank you.
We loved your poetry today. Thanks for bringing it in. Do you want to tell us what the names of your poems
Sure.
are? Okay.
I read Remembrance, Pig, and Love Offering.
And Pig is my favorite. I just loved Pig. I'm like, I don't know why I love that one so much, but that was like my favorite.
I did actually have a pig. I think most everyone here met my pig, who was a
I didn't meet
heck
your
of
pig.
a lot of trouble.
Oh, you had a pet pig?
I did have a pot-belly pig.
One of my friends has a potbelly, and it's really cool. It acts like a dog. I mean, it's like trained. She can like tell it to lay down, and it will lay down. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. She's had it her whole life. It's like crazy good.
No, our pig bit everyone.
Oh no! Oh no!
It was a terrible pig. I loved the pig, but the pig was a terrible pig.
So you want to tell us a little bit about the poem? Is the poem about Pig? Your pig?
Well, the poems I read, I did write all of them for Hot Poets for the events that we've had. And, of course, they're all about relationships, love gotten and love lost. And relationships aren't easy.
Right.
They're hard. At least I haven't found them to be easy.
I haven't found them to be easy either.
And whether they're relationships with people or relationships with pigs. Now, relationships with my dogs are much easier. And I've written about my dogs. Those go a lot more. Those are easier, but the others, not as much.
Right. So that's what Pig is about then, is kind of like relationships. Yeah, and maybe how we feel like they might be pig-like.
Pardon?
How they might be pig-like.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to say a whole lot more than that, but occasionally they can be pig-like.
Okay, cool. So our next poet, thank you, Tina, very much, and thanks for coming in. We really appreciate you being a part of Music Highway.
Yes, I am Glenn Irby, and I read 4 poems, but I merged them all together. I didn't mention title, and I read them all 4 in sequence such that they all sort of
blended,
went together, actually, all 4 of them. And it was Pipe Dreams, Imaji 22, Inside of Oracles, and the Rosa Zephyrine. And the Rosa Zephyrine is actually from a series of floral poems that I've done over the years. I tried to focus on sort of sensuous poems, partly because we were talking about hot poets, and but it's a lot of things. I guess I focus on the sensuous. The one of those 4 that I read, actually the first one, the Pipe Yards, is actually the oldest of them, and I live in an area that is sort of industrial, and there are a lot of pipe yards around, and grew up with pipes around, and I am equating the pipe yards in a kind of a sensuous matter. And
I know, I noticed that. It's like he's talking about pipes, but it's so sexy.
Well,
I didn't know pipes could be sexy, but I thought they were when you were reading them.
I tried to do that, and that's the type thing I like to write, is where it has really 2 meanings. One, the obvious thing that I'm talking about, plus an underlay of if one chooses to focus on the others.
Right.
And the Imaji 22, actually, it's a made-up word. When I was first started a long time ago with poetry, I did quite a few unnamed poems, and the publisher that I dealt with sort of suggested I not do that, which eventually I agreed with her, and I made up a title basically with numbers.
Right.
But they're all kind of short, focused on a romantic sort of context, and cantos were already taken, so I picked Imaji.
I like that. I kind of like that word. I might have to use that like as a cuss word.
An Italian word.
Imaji.
Oh, Imaji. And then they won't even know what the hell I'm talking about, right? I love that.
Key.
We're going to keep that. Imaji. Remember that, Yvette.
And, the third one, Inside of Oracles, just describes a scene of discussion I was having once with a woman, and it was a pleasant discussion.
It was a pleasant discussion. Well, see, we have somebody in the room who has pleasant memories of that, even though we're like...
true, yes. Well, we all have both pleasant and regrettable, maybe.
Certainly we all do. We have ups and downs, and things go up and down, and people change and move along. I mean, I think as we go through life. So, again, we've had Kelly Ann Ellis and Hot Poets, Carolyn Adams, Billy Hill, Joseph Machado, Chris Wise, Tina Cordona, Glenn M. Irby, and their backing guitar was by Dennis O'Doctry. And we were happy to have you all here at Music Highway at Rockstar Art Gallery. Thanks for tuning in today to Music Highway at the Cafe. Next up, I think we're going to be interviewing, I think my next interview is with art car artists. We've also got some art cars here at Rockstar today, and we'd like to thank the art car community for bringing their beautiful art cars and parking them out front to make the show more artistic. So I have Bonnie Blue and a couple of her friends who have brought art cars that are going to be coming in for art cars next. Thank all you poets. Thank you for coming into the room with me, and thank you for the interview.
Thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you all very much. This is Rock and Robin Kirby. We're live on Music Highway on StilettoBroadcasting.com.